I went away to Poland last week on winter break to look at some exhibitions and to go to a folk museum to look at Polish timber houses. While I was away, there's been a fair bit of snow come down. It's actually not too bad down here on the building site, down by the lake. It was much worse up at my farm where there's a great deal of snow. And my snowblower broke and the engine overheated. So I went and bought a new one. So in the meantime the roof has arrived. That's the roof. And I'm just taking the snow off the roof here. I don't have the right camera really. I would set up it might be quite fun to have had a stop animation for this, but I've only got my telephone today. So the snow comes off really easily because it's got tarpaulins on it. So I'm going to clear off this side, lay the roof on this side first, because then I can take the scaffolding down. I'm renting the scaffolding. I want to try and deliver some of it back, and the bits that I need for the small house I can take from there, from what's been taken down on the back side. I don't really need this scaffolding here on the gable end because this gable end is finished, but this little roof needs to have some repairs done on it before I fix it up. It's nice and sunny. The sun's come back. The sun, in 2 or 3 days I get the sun back on my farm as well. I wonder if it's the 23rd of February it comes back. But yesterday was a lot of snow, so everybody's out clearing snow. I couldn't come to work yesterday. I spent the whole day clearing snow. But I say it looks very fresh. Everything looks very nice and white and clean, as long as it lasts. Okay, so that's a little building update, and explains why I haven't been uploading any work films this week. Maybe you'd like to see some images from Poland. using a spare board. Check that it's very similar to the other one. Find out the distance of the separation of the boards, and that's 9.3. They lay in place like this. Now I would usually leave the heartwood facing up on every board, but these have been planed, an overboard and an underboard, so I have no choice. I have to lay it the way they've planed it, or the way they've cut it. So I'll have to forget about that for this particular job. So 9.3, the distance between, I put the two outside boards on because they have a particular detail over the edge. They have to line up exactly with the board that comes underneath. So I have to start with those. I put my line between them, which tells me the distance from that I put them down, how far down they have to go. And you want to leave a gap. You use a blade of the ruler. You have to leave a gap, because if you don't leave a gap, the boards would touch and it could push the string down. So my distance between the two outside boards, 12.1, 8 meters, 12 centimeters and 1 millimeter. I take off one gap and then I divide it. I divide it by about the distance of one board and one gap. That's the covering distance. It's 24 centimeters. I've just measured that off camera. That gives me 33.1 or something. I just use a calculator for that because I'm not very good at maths. So my 8 meters 12.1. Divided by 24 centimeters is 33.8. But that would be mistaken, because if I were to do that, the last board would be in the gap, and I want there to be a gap. I want the last board to stop, and then there'd be a gap between that and the last board. So difficult to explain, but in practice you have to take away one of the gaps before you do the equation, before you do the sum. So 8, 12.1 minus 9.3 centimeters is 802.8, and I divide that by 33. That gives me 24.32. So I can use that. That's a good size. The actual ideal one is 24.4, so 24.32 is just fine. I'll times that by 2, that gives me the next one as well. And it's quite sensible actually to write those down, 48.65, because it kind of it gives you a check at the other end. I'll times that by 2 again, 97.3. So that should be enough. You know, I mean, that gives me a it's difficult, again, I don't want to just keep on measuring 24.32, because the inaccuracy of measuring like that will add up and end up with there being an error. So what I do is I use these numbers, so 97 9.3, and that's, you know, that's giving me about a metre of accuracy. And if I do that from both sides in 2 or 3 groups, or I could add on 24.32 again there, or, you know, I mean, I just can't. It's best to have the actual numbers and do it from the end stop, measure from the end, and not from each new number, because obviously if you're only a millimetre in accuracy, 33 steps, that would be 33 millimetres wrong, which would mean the last board wouldn't work. So you can see that there's a way of keeping control over what you're doing without adding a lot of work. As I said, I'm measuring from both sides. Because if I've made an error, you can see. Here we are in the middle. .6. Now that should be one of my numbers. 72.98. Okay, that's the margin of error. That's fine. So I'll mark that up all the way. When I started measuring at this end, I did the same thing really as I did at the other end. As I started with a mark at 9.3. That's where the board will be. That's the gap. But then I measured 5 times my unit. So I was measuring in large chunks, and they met in the middle correctly with just 3 millimeters difference, or 4. So that means that means my calculation is correct. So I'll do more like that. I'll do the same at the top as well. I've cut this vertical here and mark it with the spirit level. I've cut it vertical, but I don't need to do that right now. But I won't fix it any further up than that, because it's nice to be able to pull it away from the surface when you cut that. So this piece here comes down far enough down to cover guttering. There isn't actually guttering on this side, but if they want to put guttering on later, they can. I'm making provision for it. And also the other side is having guttering, so it will be symmetrical, which is always a good thing. Well, actually, I don't agree with that. It's not always a good thing. Right, it will be symmetrical anyway. So my method for this is to use the width of the ruler at the bottom and at the top, the side I mean. Like that, I can feel that. That's correct. I'll fix that. Because fixing it allows me to adjust it, see? Give that a little tap with the hammer and it'll move. But that's correct there. That's perfect there. And then I'm going to use the shorter screws that are used for fixing the underboards. Just using my machine as a measuring device. That gives me the edge, come in a little bit. I'll put it at the same level as the other screws. Right, well that's going to be right now, so it can be fixed in fact. Those aren't too big. And then I'm going to do these 90 degrees. I just put my finger over it just to make sure that I don't split it out. I want to be near the edge. And then I like to hammer without making a great big pit in the surface. I know that some people like to put them deep, but the boards rot if you put a big deep hole. The water should be able to just run over the surface. Alright, that's it started then. That's not going to fall out now that it's got a screw in it. And then I can just use the timber, the ruler all the way up to get the right distance from the edge. That's the I'm glad it's a bit warmer today. It was about -14 here yesterday, and being the first proper day back from work and having done a lot of snow clearing and I got very hot. Which is fatal really. When it's as cold as that, you need to not get sweaty. So it's not so bad to get too hot now. Now, I'm going to put the underboards and the overboards on at the same time this time because it's a bit too steep to walk on. So, I fix it at the bottom there, and then I've got these things which are called loosing-id. They're the little blocks. They stop the boards that are put on top from curling up But they have to be all the way up. And the ones at the bottom, of course, have to be black. And they don't completely fill the gap because you really want to screw in on the ends of those so that they don't split. As this is going to be a bit slow in the beginning, all this, but as I get into the rhythm here, it will go a bit faster. I'll repeat yesterday's thing because I hit my thumb yesterday. Stupidly, I looked at it when I was hammering. I looked at my thumb, and of course, the very next hammer here is exactly where I looked. So, what would be a word of advice for that would be look at the hammer head, the nail head. So, I'm probably not going to run out of these blocks. I don't have to use these boards for the block material. It can be anything that's the same thickness. I've got a pocket full of 95mm nails, so maybe I should pick those out. Anyway, I thought I would just fix one board so you could see the process now.